So I saw that I used the sound from the microphone on the webcam. I listened to the podcast, it's pretty okay. So let's move on. This time I have moved it to this one, which is a little bit better, but no issues. Okay, so let's move to the next part of this sustainable agriculture for zero hunger. Uh, how do we bridge the gap from theory to implementation in terms of sustainable agriculture for zero hunger? Advancing sustainable agriculture requires bridging the gap between theory and implementation. Research and development is of course needed. Health, crop rotation techniques, water management practices, and integrated pest management, etc., are the key steps to bridging this gap from innovative theories and practices to actually, practices means maybe you are trying things in a lab setting, and then you have to go to the full-scale real-world implementation, including smallholders, especially smallholders, because zero hunger is often related to that level of the community or society as opposed to the industrial production. The big industrial producers and food production giants take care of these things very well in terms of ingesting technologies and saving money on water, fertilizers, etc. Whether they are being really environmentally friendly or not is a different issue. So demonstration and education, organizing workshops, training sessions, field demonstrations to educate farmers, agronomists and so on are also obviously important, including demos, hands-on demonstrations. Policy support, always government can play a crucial role in encouraging adoption of sustainable practices, otherwise it may not happen because sustainable practice may not be consistent with maximizing profits and just surviving in terms of livelihoods. Collaboration and partnerships, of course, partnerships can help in scaling up successful sustainable agricultural initiatives. Monitoring and evaluation, so collecting data on key performance indicators helps in assessing effectiveness of different practices and making informed decisions and ensuring that actual progress is happening and not just a theoretical framework that says we have good policies and good technology available and so on, but on the ground it's not really moving towards sustainable agriculture. Technology adoption. Technology can streamline operations and improve resource efficiency, and technology is coming from every direction obviously, and including how to extract groundwater, which is not what you want to do, but smart irrigation systems, precision agriculture, enhancing productivities and so on are all becoming available and constantly improving, including monitoring systems like drones. If you are a rich farmer, you may be using drones to monitor crop stress to decide on irrigation. So you may want to save on electricity and water in terms of your bill, but obviously there can be subsidies and incentives to use water, and maybe you are not using too much water and so on and so forth. Capacity building, obviously this helps in terms of training programs on soil health management, biodiversity conservation and climate smart agriculture, which are all able to empower stakeholders to make better decisions towards sustainability. Knowledge sharing, facilitating communication and collaboration. Stakeholders can learn from each other's experiences and best practices. So how do you make it happen and at what scale? That's important. But a lot of sustainability is all about local sustainability adding up to global sustainability. So you have to ensure sustainability at local scales, which may make collaboration and communication easier in that sense. What are the innovations and solutions towards zero hunger that are possible and needed? Addressing the issue of hunger requires a multifaceted approach involving innovations and solutions at various levels. Here are some innovations and solutions that can help move towards zero hunger. Improved agricultural techniques. Obviously, we are repeating some of these things from each section, but that's okay. So drones, sensors to help crop yields and food production, and reduction of water for irrigation and fertilizers and pesticides and so on. Biotechnology and genetic engineering is a big part of it. So GMOs, there is always some debate about good, bad, who owns this, whether farmers are being squeezed by GMO companies and so on, but still higher yields and better nutrition obviously can be achieved with biotechnology and genetic engineering. There is also soil microbiome engineering that is possible. I have a podcast on that elsewhere that you can look up. Food waste reduction, as I said, up to 6% of the total emissions come from food waste. And this is not just a rich country problem. Even developing countries and low-income countries waste a lot of food. And this obviously is a low-hanging fruit in terms of reducing, or moving towards the sustainability goals by reducing food waste. And South Korea has become the best at it. I think they recycle something like 98% of, or use 98% of the food waste for compost and other things. Supports small-scale farmers, obvious one. Urban agriculture. Promoting urban agricultural initiatives such as rooftop gardens and community gardens can increase access to fresh produce in urban areas, vertical farming, and even using rooftop gardens to reduce energy use and so on. So there are many co-benefits. They are growing, but we have to track to see how large a contribution they are making to actual production of food and zero hunger. Climate resilient crops, obviously lots of good work going on in this, but that's where the idea of who owns these things. Is government sponsoring all this research and making it available to smallholders and subsistence farmers, or are companies pushing these and making a lot of profit at the cost to farmers? That has to be tracked. Food security policies, obviously, including social safety nets and nutrition programs. Technology for food distribution. It's not just supply chain, but actually improving the technologies themselves. Nutrition education, we already mentioned that, but still very important in terms of innovation. Public-private partnerships, again, it comes up in every context because collaboration between governments, NGOs, businesses, and communities can lead to more effective and sustainable solutions to address hunger and food insecurity. So what is possible in terms of a critical analysis of sustainable agricultural approaches? Remember, this is a review article, so it's just doing a meta-analysis of reported published articles. Sustainable agriculture is a holistic approach to farming that aims to meet society's food and fiber needs in the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It focuses on three main pillars: environmental health, economic profitability, and social and economic equity. In a critical analysis of sustainable agricultural approaches, several factors need to be considered. Firstly, the environmental impact of agricultural practices is crucial. Sustainable agriculture seeks to minimize the use of synthetic inputs such as pesticides and fertilizers. Secondly, economic viability of sustainable agriculture is a key consideration. It's important to analyze the long-term economic benefits such as increased soil fertility, reduced input costs over time, and access to premium markets for sustainably produced goods. So organic food is very popular, but if it's only the privilege of the rich, then we are not doing much for zero hunger, right? Thirdly, the social aspects of sustainable agriculture cannot be overlooked. It is essential to assess how sustainable practices affect farm labor conditions, rural communities, and social equity within the agricultural sectors. So you realize that we are saying we want to support zero hunger with sustainable agriculture, but is sustainable agriculture really sustainable unless it worries about all aspects of the food system? So I have a series of lectures on podcasts on how to make the food system itself sustainable, and this is slightly more detailed in terms of coming from the sustainable agricultural side to sustainable agriculture side to zero hunger and all these other issues of equity and labor conditions and rural communities as a whole. But all these are very critical. So it's essential to critically examine the implications of adopting the technologies that come along that improve a lot of things but are often focused on one or two issues, how they are helping in terms of long-term sustainability, potential risks to ecosystems, and human health, and equitable access to technology for all farmers. Okay, so role of policies and governance is always important. In general, critical analysis of sustainable agricultural approaches should consider the environmental, economic, and social aspects of these practices. By evaluating the effectiveness, feasibility, and impact of sustainable agriculture, we can better understand its potential to address global food security challenges while preserving the health of our planet for future generations. Okay, so maybe we'll leave this and then come back and look at policies that can help sustainable agriculture to help zero hunger as the Sustainable Development Goal 2. Okay, there's only 11 minutes, but that's okay. We are not in a hurry anyways. See you in the next topic.